I don't know what this thing is doing and how it's doing it, but I don't know what's going on with StreamYard at all. It finally let me be able to create a stream. Like I couldn't even put the thumbnail up. Like I just did create a stream, and I tried to do it through YouTube, and I don't know about YouTube with doing it like directly through them because I can't play any music. I can't do the intro. I can't do nothing. Like I can't even put my mic on mute. Like if I put my mic on mute, you can't hear it. Oh, that is a horrific thing. So I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do with stuff like that. Like I was really confused. Okay, but let me get my screen up. Let's get into the test. Oh, it ain't no reason for you to be sorry. Like it was crazy. You can hear me now, right? You may be a little bit behind me. What's up, Jason? I'm telling you, talk about a whole befuddle of a mess. Like I don't know what is going on with StreamYard, but that was absolutely terrible. I'm like, and I can't get it to work. And I'm like, okay, well, I want to do YouTube live, but I don't know how to work that. Let me see. I do need to give me 1 second. I do need to upload the thumbnail for this one because I didn't even get to upload the thumbnail, nothing. I just put it in here. But let's go ahead and start the testimony, our day 4. It doesn't look like it's that much testimony for today. I'm backing up just a little bit so we can get into this.
If you will raise your hand, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under penalty for perjury?
I do.
You can sit down.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Could you tell us your name and spell it for the record?
My name's Georgia Ziegler, GeorgiaZiegler.
And where do you work?
I work for the Michigan State Police.
And what do you do there?
I am a cell phone records specialist.
What does that mean?
I specialize in analyzing historical cell phone records for criminal investigations.
And where do you get those records?
These records are obtained from the cell phone service provider. So in this case, it would be Verizon.
Okay. And how long have you been doing that?
I've been analyzing records for approximately 5 years.
And do you have training in this area?
I do.
And what kind of training?
I've gone through over 300 hours of training specific to analyzing historical phone records. A lot of that training is conducted by software vendors or other industry professionals who handle the material.
And you mentioned software. Do you use software in your analysis?
I do.
What kind of software?
In this case, I use CellHawk as well as PenLink's PLX.
Okay. And are you aware of like the industry standard in this area? Would those be considered industry standard, those two programs?
Yes, CellHawk is a very common program for law enforcement or attorneys.
And what does the software actually do? How do you use it?
I use the software to help efficiently process the records because when we receive cell phone records, they have hundreds of rows of data, so it helps process it more efficiently. However, everything that I do in the software can be done by hand. It just makes it more efficient for our time.
Do you then spot check to make sure that the software is rendering accurate results?
That's correct.
And how do you do that?
To spot check the records, I look for the key tower transactions or the key transactions in the report and recreate those transactions on a map by hand and make sure that our software is displaying those transactions appropriately.
So the software is basically mapping the location of something on an actual map. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And all right, and then you are actually going and looking at the data and say, is that correct? Is that where it really is on the map?
That's correct.
Okay. And then does someone check your work once you've used the software, done your own spot checking, and now you have a report?
Yes, my report undergoes multiple layers of peer review where another analyst who's trained in this will recreate the report or the records and the analysis.
Okay. And about how many cases have you worked on and doing the same kind of analysis?
I would say around 100.
Okay. How did you get involved in this case?
At the time, I was in a training for software, and some of the material that they were training on had me use case materials. So I inquired to look at the records for this case to see if I could identify anything that may have been missed.
Okay. So you were provided the actual Verizon records that are at issue here?
Yes, I was.
Okay. And what did those consist? Well, let me ask you this: were they particular to D. Warner's phone? Any of those records?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And just referring to those records for the time being. Did you do the analysis?
I did.
Okay. And so what did you do to prepare for court today?
I completed an analysis and I put my analysis on a presentation for today.
Okay. And showing you what's been admitted just for demonstration purposes only. This won't be in evidence, but so the jury can follow along better, is People's 261. Is this the presentation that you referred to?
That's correct.
Okay. Obviously, you don't need to read the slide, but can you tell us a little bit about the methodology that you haven't already mentioned?
So this slide just talks about the types of records that we receive to analyze. Cell phone providers maintain records of all their customers' usage on their network. So in this case, Verizon maintains a log of all of the activity for this phone number. That could be texts, calls, anytime the user would have accessed the internet. That could be in the form of checking their email, browsing the web, any applications that require internet. And Verizon will log these transactions on their network, and included in those logs are going to be the date and time that it was initiated, the type of transaction it was, if there was another number involved in that transaction, so if it was a voice call, and sometimes there'll be duration or a location component, which is in the form of a cell phone tower or a cell site. The other records that we can receive from the carrier are network performance records. These are records that generate on the back end. The user does not have to be manipulating their phone for these records to produce. And these records essentially indicate interactions between the device and the cell phone towers in the area. And those cell phone towers in the area can infer an approximate distance from the cell site that the device is expected to be.
So you mentioned a couple of things. You mentioned texts and voice calls. So those would be things, for example, a text. If the phone that you're analyzing, those records, had sent a text, that would be something that the user would generate intentionally, correct?
Yes.
Do these records also include things that the phone would do on autopilot, that would do automatically?
Yes.
Like what kinds of things would those might be?
Some of the records that may be generated on their own would be if you received an incoming text or a call. Obviously, the user doesn't have control over who's calling them. There would be some data sessions potentially that are generating. If there's data being run in the background, like a background application, and then the network performance records, those are all generated by Verizon. The user doesn't have to be manipulating the phone.
So if I'm on my phone and I have like a weather app that I want it to be always having the current weather, I don't have to do anything to say, hey, go get the weather for me. It automatically appears on my phone, right?
Yes.
And that would be one of the things you're referring to that happens in the background without the user being involved?
Yes, that could be.
Okay, thank you. All right, can you explain a little bit about, for those who don't know the specifics about the cell towers?
So like I said, these records contain locational information in the records. They're not exact locations of the device. However, they do provide the location of the cell phone tower. So if I were to pull out my phone and make a call, Verizon has to provide service to my phone so that it can make that call. Those tower locations are cell sites, and those are essentially structures that have antenna equipment to direct radio frequency signals to a designated area so that your phone can receive signal. These cell phone towers are broken up into sides or sectors. So in the records, not only are we getting the location of the tower, but also what side of the tower is being accessed by the device.
And is this an example of that?
This is a visual example of what that's going to look like in my report. So the picture on the left is an example of what a single access or a access on a single side of the tower is going to look like. That pie shape, or what we would refer to as a sector, is indicating that the signal is oriented towards the west and the device is using the west side of that tower. The picture on the right is what it looks like if there's multiple sides of the towers being accessed. And one thing to note here is that the lines, the sector lines and the shading there do not represent the boundaries of coverage. Those are just visual guides so you can understand what side of the tower is being used.
Okay, just so everybody understands, in the picture on the left, where is the tower?
The tower is going to be at the point of that sector. There's a very small orange circle. I don't know if you can see it or not.
Are we talking about right here?
Yes.
All right, and what do you have here?
This is a visual example of what the network performance records will look like. So as I mentioned before, you'll get the side of the tower that's being accessed by the device, but there's also inferred distances from the tower that the network can provide. Those distances are going to be represented as a curved line along that side of the tower, or an arc as indicated by the number 2.
So how does the tower know what the distance is between the tower and the phone?
The network will send, your device will constantly be communicating with towers on the network so that it knows if you need to make a call, it knows what tower is going to have the best service, quality of service, so that call can be made. And those signals will constantly be interacting between the tower and the device. And when the signal is traveling at the speed of light, you can infer a distance of how far the phone away is based on how long it takes for the signal to go back and forth.
So there's a signal that goes out from the cell side of the cell tower to the phone and back,
Correct.
and it knows how long that would take depending on how far it is away.
Correct.
Okay. Is there a maximum distance that would work? Is it 2 miles, 100 miles, and somewhere in between? Do you know?
I do not.
Okay. Why is that? Why don't you know?
Depending on the towers or the geographic area, the tower density in rural areas, there's going to be a lot less towers because there's a lot less demand for service. Whereas in an inner city, you're going to have a lot more towers in the area. So those towers are going to be oriented in a way that provides continuous coverage to the area. So in a rural area, the towers may cover a lot more space, geographic space, than it would in a urban area.
All right, so you did an analysis of a certain set of records, correct?
Correct.
And what were those records?
I analyzed records associated to D. Warner's Verizon phone.
And what was the date that you looked from when to when?
The entire record set covered March 28th, 2021 through April 28th, 2021. And my analysis focused around the time of her disappearance.
Okay. All right. And this is just to help the jury understand the symbols that we're going to show in a minute.
Yes, so the symbols there in purple, those represent the sides of the tower that are going to be accessed by the device. If there is a distance associated with that access, it'll be represented by a curved line along that side of the tower at that designated distance. The blue marker pin represents 2170 West Munger Road, or the property. And the small orange circles will be the Verizon cell sites.
Okay, are these the actual cell site locations?
Yes, so this is Verizon's towers in the area. The zoomed in image there is the surrounding towers in the immediate area of the residence.
So if we look at the bigger scale map that's kind of to the lower right-hand corner, and you look at Metro Detroit, for example, there's parts of it that are just all orange. You can't even see a distinct circle. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, is that an example of when you said there are more towers in urban areas?
That's correct.
Okay. And then the call out there is just the area around the Munger property. Is that right?
That's right.
Okay. And can you look and tell us where are the closest towers to the Munger residence?
The closest towers are going to be, by bird's eye view, is going to be directly north of the residence and south with a little bit to the east.
Okay, and I'm going to just point at one here. Is that one of the ones you're referring to?
That's correct.
Okay, that's the one to the north. And what about this one?
Yes.
Okay. So again, this is the phone number, correct?
That's correct.
And then the range of dates that you looked at.
That's correct.
Okay. Is this an example of what the data looks like when you looked at it?
That is correct.
Okay, can you explain it?
So this is an excerpt of the internet usage report. This is the last activity on this device on the internet side of the records. They're color coded based on session ID. So if you're looking at the first column there, it indicates charging ID. That's a unique Verizon number specifying the session ID or the data session. So every time that's reoccurring, that just indicates that that session renewed and is continuing on and on.
So does that mean that every time the phone connects again, there's a new number for that? For that charging ID?
Yes, if there's a new internet session initiated, it will be a unique identifier under the charging ID.
Okay. All right. And then go on, please.
And the start date and time is indicating the origin of that session, when it was originating. And then if there's a reoccurring charging ID or session ID, that's the start and date time is going to be when that renewed. The stop date and time is when one session ends. And if it's a reoccurring session, it'll renew at the exact second that the next or the last one expired.
And if that happens, does that mean that there was no, that connection was never lost? If it's a renewing session?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
The record close cause is going to tell us the reason why the record closed out. So you can see there's quite a few there that list time limit. That just indicates that those sessions ran for the maximum amount of time before Verizon needed to re-authenticate that data session and renew. The MSISDN just indicates this record set belongs to that phone number. The megabits is going to be how much data transpired for these sessions. And the ECGI eNote ID, that is just a tower identifier.
Okay. And is this the same data, just in a different order?
Yes, so this is the same information essentially broken up by session ID. So with the green and the yellow, you can see that those both originated the day before, so April 24th. And they continued on for several renewals or sub-sessions until they timed out. The orange and the blue and the pink rows at the bottom are all sessions that were single session data access. The bottom row in the highlighted in the pink is the last initiated session by this phone, and that occurred on March 25th, or excuse me, April 25th at 7:01 in the morning.
Okay. And it says that the start time was 7:01, the stop time was 7:05. What do those figures tell us?
Because this record close cause indicates it was a normal release, that session lasted approximately 4 to 5 minutes, and it closed out under normal circumstances.
And do you know from this information whether that was a user-generated connection or whether that was a background connection like we talked about earlier?
I have no way to distinguish that.
Okay. All right, but the bottom line here, the last time the phone was active on the network was 7:05.
For this specific record set, yes.
All right, so what do we have here?
This is essentially the records displayed geographically. So as I had mentioned, there were some network performance records that were generated indicating some of the last activity on this device. You can see that there was access on 2 towers, the tower north of the residence and the tower south of the residence. And the timestamps with the asterisk, I don't know if you can see that far, but those are timestamps that have an associated distance measurement, where those distance measurements are displayed along that side of the tower.
And so you have the north tower that we mentioned and the south tower that we mentioned.
Yes.
And then there are 2 sets of arcs. Can you explain those?
So what we have here is what I would call competing towers. So the device is constantly analyzing the network to understand the quality of the signal strength, so that if a call were to be initiated, it would know which of these 2 towers is going to provide the best quality of service. And these towers have multiple registrations or interactions with the device, and those interactions have distance measurements away from those towers.
And so the arcs represent the distance that the records are saying the phone was away from the towers.
Correct.
Okay. And why do we have an arc rather than a point?
The arcs are, if the tower is measuring the phone to be 3 miles away from the tower, and we know what side of the tower is being accessed, then we would draw a line along that side of the tower for 3 miles out, and that's why you get a partial circle.
Okay, so if we just had, for example, the north tower, then the bottom arc we wouldn't have at all.
That's correct.
Okay, and vice versa.
Yes,
Okay, so is there an advantage then to having connections to both towers?
there is. So because we have 2 towers communicating with the phone in close proximity in time, where those 2 distance measurements are intersecting is a good indication where that device is expected to be.
Okay, and where is that blue pin located?
The blue pin represents the Munger Farm property.
Okay. Is this a close-up of that?
This is a close-up satellite view of where those arcs are intersecting.
And so why is there a difference of however many feet that may be between the, you've got, going from the bottom left to the top right, you've got 4 pieces of arcs, and you've got 2 coming the other way. Why aren't those like right on top of each other?
It's normal for devices to generate a slight variation in the distances, because essentially the network's measuring the time it takes for the signal to travel. Sometimes the signal might be delayed. If it's not direct line of sight, then that signal might have to take a different path to get to the phone.
Okay, but we don't have any other arcs, do we, other than these that are displayed?
Correct.
Okay. And so does this represent movement of the phone or no?
In this instance, it would be hard to distinguish movement.
So again, all of these are intersecting right where the Munger farm is.
That's correct.
Okay. And that's what the towers are telling you, this is where the phone is.
That's correct.
Now, there are some other times on here. We said that the last time that there was a data session was 7:01. What do the other times represent?
The times indicated here are the tower registrations or the interaction times with the device and these towers.
And so is that when you said that the tower needs to know if a phone is within reach of that tower? So if a call comes in, it knows that the phone is there?
That's correct.
Okay. And when is the last one of those? Is it represented here?
The last interaction would be at 7:14 and 21 seconds
Okay. That's AM
a.m.
on Sunday morning.
Yes.
Okay. So did you also look at the record of her actual voice calls?
I did.
And is that what this represents?
Yes.
Okay. And tell us about this.
So this is an excerpt from the voice activity on the network. The top row there, I know it's kind of hard to see, but the top row is going to be the last outgoing and connected call for this device on the Verizon network. That occurs on April 24th in the evening at approximately 4:47 p.m. And then the subsequent calls are all the incoming calls the next morning that are ringing to voicemail.
So that phone made an outgoing call on Saturday at 4:47. And then after that, every single call was an incoming call.
That's correct.
All right. And you have the duration of those calls.
Yes.
So in the second to last column, the first incoming call, it says 000003. What does that tell us?
That was a incoming call, and after 3 seconds, it hit the voicemail.
Okay. And then just scrolling down, similar, either 2, 3, 4, or 5 seconds for all these incoming calls.
Yes.
And then at the bottom, you indicate calls handled by voicemail.
Yes.
And what does that indicate?
The bottom section there is a grid of every day that there was a call that was handled by voicemail. So these would be all the unanswered calls that ring to voicemail.
Okay, and just so the jury can be clear, can you read the numbers starting from March 30th?
Yes. So one thing I would like to note here is that there are going to be days in here that should indicate 0. If we're looking at April 1st, there's no column for April 1st. That's because there was 0 calls that rang to voicemail. So I can read March 30th is 20, March 31st is 1, or excuse me, 2. March 31st is 1. April 2nd is 1. April 5th is 2. April 9th is 1. April 10th is 2. April 12th is 1. April 14th is 1. Excuse me, April 14th is 2. April 15th, 1. 16th, 2. 19th, 1. 20th is 2. 21st is 1. 22nd is 1. 23rd is 2. 24th is 1. 25th is 75. 26th is 43. 27th, 33, and 28th, 16.
Okay, and so there's a pattern here.
Yes.
So you're saying that from the 30th of March through the 24th of April, the most times that phone had a call go through to voicemail was 2 in one day.
Correct.
And then on Sunday, the 25th, how many went through to voicemail?
75.
Okay, and did the record say that she ever answered her phone after Saturday, the 24th?
No.
Did she ever make a call after Saturday, the 24th?
No.
All right, thank you.
Good afternoon. Is it Ms. Ziegler?
Yes.
Okay, I wanted to make sure I was pronouncing it properly. My name is Mary Chartier. I have some questions for you this afternoon. So, on your report, which Ms. Saylor is getting ready for us, do you have a copy in front of you?
I do not.
Okay, so in case we need it, Ms. Saylor will be able to pull it up. It says last updated with the demonstrative aid that you have for us on February 12th, 2026. That would be Thursday, correct?
Correct.
What did you update on it?
I made some adjustments to the slides. I know there was some grammatical errors on the case detail slide. The display of the title on the map slides needed to be adjusted because the white box behind the text wasn't representative, or it was not covering the full text, so you couldn't see the full text.
Was there anything substantive? It sounds like those things are either typos or aesthetics or grammar, anything substantive that you changed.
I don't believe so.
You also indicated that when you are spot checking the software, you recreate key transactions, correct?
Correct.
How long does it take you to recreate key transactions?
It can depend on if there's some issues, like some troubleshooting stuff, but I would say in this case, maybe an hour.
Were there any issues with the software that you needed to troubleshoot?
No.
You had indicated that you got involved in the case to see if anything had been missed. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Was anything missed?
No. Anything that I thought that I found as far as an investigative lead would have been relayed to the officer in charge.
So maybe I did not phrase my question properly. You got involved to see if anything had been missed before your involvement. That's how I understood your response earlier.
I was looking for, at the time, there was no body recovered, so I was essentially looking for records that might help lead to a location.
Were you looking to see if another analyst had missed something before you, or no? You were just coming in to assist in an investigative lead?
Yes, I was.
The latter? You were coming in to assist?
Yes.
Not to see if somebody else had missed something?
Well, when I do my own analysis, it would be an independent analysis. So if my analysis differed from somebody else's, that would be apparent.
Did your analysis differ from someone else's?
It, as far as what?
As far as anything?
No, I don't think I generated anything new.
You also indicated that people sort of spot check your work or check it, correct?
Yes.
Who did that?
This most recent report was peer reviewed by Parker DeGroot and Elizabeth Laundrie.
And when you're saying report, you mean what had been up on the screen?
Yes.
What about your work analyzing the records? Did someone check that?
What do you mean?
Sure. So you put cell tower locations, things like that. Did someone check that work, or were they just looking at your report?
Yes. So when we submit our stuff for a peer review, they'll pull up the case files in our software and regenerate those results.
When you say peer review, this is someone who works with you, correct?
Correct.
Now, Ms. Saylor, would you pull up the report, please, and go to what would be the third page? Is this cell tower one of the cell towers that you're talking about in terms of cell sites in this case, or is this just a random photograph?
This is just an example of what a traditional cell site would look like.
Thank you. And then would you go to page 6, please? So if we look on the 4th bullet down, it says the activity displayed is meant to provide an overview of the approximate geographic location. Talk to me about the approximate geographic location. When you show a little button up there that says this is where the device is, how accurate is that? How close to that location is that?
I don't indicate where the device is. I indicate where the towers are that are being accessed by the device. And the device would have to be in the area where the signal could reach for those towers to be accessed.
So when you showed in your report the device being, for instance, on the Munger property. So if you could go to slide 13, please. So we see that little blue dot. Are you saying that's where the device was?
The blue marker pin is just a pin on the map for the property.
Okay. So terrific. That's what I wanted to make sure I understood from your testimony. So that's the Munger property. That's not where the device is located.
That's correct.
You can't, and again, unless things dramatically changed and I'm not keeping up with it, you can't tell us where the device last was connected, like in terms of an actual location.
I would never be able to give you an exact location of where the device is, but when you have instances where there's multiple towers giving distance readings, it's a pretty good indication of where the device is relatively.
Pretty good indication. So how close? So for instance, on the Munger property, on a neighbor's property, on the road, how precise are you getting?
These arcs are pretty accurate. I believe the industry understanding is within 1/10 of a mile.
Within 1/10 of a mile?
Yes.
And is that why, though, you put the estimated distance from the tower? Because you can't give us an exact location.
Correct.
Now, also on that same slide, you said it's hard to distinguish movement. So you can't tell us, for instance, a phone is going from one location to another.
In this case, no.
Correct. Yeah, and that's I'm only interested in this case. Thank you. There might be others. Now, also, you said there's a slight variation in distances. And again, that's why you have to estimate, correct?
Correct.
If you would go, Ms. Saylor, to the next page, page 12, or actually the page before page 12. Thank you. So these times, 7:13, 16, 7:13, 33, those are times that the device is connecting with the towers. Is that accurate?
Yes, those are times that the device is interacting with that specific tower.
And so if I look at the bottom, 7:13:11, 7:13:12, so that's 7:13 a.m. in the morning. And then not even a second later, it's connecting to the north tower, correct? At 7:13:16, is that what that shows?
Yes.
So why is that? When you talked about cell phone tower strength, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, is it essentially your phone? So I have my phone on me right now. It is just constantly looking for the strongest tower. Is that accurate?
The best quality of service. So it's rating the signal strength and quality.
So I'm not doing anything with my phone right now. You can see that. So, but it's checking in to see what's the best signal, and it's that there's that variation, right? Within a second, it's going from different towers.
These are the interactions between those two towers. We don't get the rating between, like, what the device decides is the best between those two unless a call's initiated.
But the device is resonating or reacting to those towers. Is that accurate?
The device is interacting with both towers.
Okay. So almost in some cases simultaneously.
Yes.
Thank you. What are things that affect cell tower signal strength?
Obstructions. So if you're in a concrete building, your signal strength is going to be hindered. Distance away from the tower could lessen the signal strength. if you're not straight out in front of the antenna, the strength's going to be weaker.
So lots of things can factor into it.
Yes.
Can weather?
I don't know of an instance where weather had an effect on my quality of service.
What about the number of people who might be on their device? So for example, if a lot of people are using the north tower, might it bump me to the south tower?
It could.
Now you had indicated that we go to page 10, please. The bottom row. This is the last connected data usage for Ms. Warner's device at 7:01:18, correct?
That's correct.
And then the stop time is 7:05:45, right?
Correct.
But you don't know what was going on. You don't know what was happening with the device to register that. Is that accurate?
That's correct.
Now, if we look up 2 rows before that, so the 1 row right up in green, that start time is 1:47:20 and the end time is 7:47:20. Do you know what's going on with that it essentially would be 6 hours?
6 hours is Verizon's maximum amount of time that a session can stay open before needing to re-authenticate with the phone.
So you can have kind of 2 things going on at the same time. This one session that ends on 7:47 and then another activity that begins at 7:01. Is that accurate?
Yes, you can have multiple data sessions running at the same time.
And then you said the final column, the one on the right-hand side, the 22601 and 22609, those are actually the symbols for different, or the numerical symbols for the 2 different towers that you were referring to.
Yes, the last column is a tower identifier on Verizon's internal side.
Now, you did not analyze Ms. Warner's actual phone, correct?
Correct.
You analyzed the records from Verizon?
Correct.
And I think we already covered this, but the estimates that you showed where the arcs were on your report, you can get us somewhat close, but you cannot pinpoint that location, correct?
Correct.
I have no additional questions. Thank you.
Sarah, would you mind? Yeah, that would be great. 10. I just want to quickly do 2 things. First, the green line second to the bottom, the one that timed out after 6 hours.
Yes.
Okay. So if I'm understanding you correctly, the the network remains open to that phone for 6 hours, and if nothing happens, it just times out.
Correct.
Okay. Does that mean that the network has connected to the phone during that time?
What do you mean?
Was the phone connected at 7:47, or was the network just open to the phone if it appeared?
So the last time that session re-authenticated with the phone would have been at 1:47 in the morning, and that session stayed open regardless of if the phone was using that session or not.
Okay. So we know that at 1:47 there was a connection, but after that we don't know.
For that session, correct.
For that session, exactly. Thank you. And then if you could go to 13. So I know you said that all these lines are estimated lines, but I just want to go over how many there are. So on the left-hand side of the page, you've got 713, 33, 71405. And so there's 4 times there, correct?
Correct.
So you've got 1 line associated with the first 3. Is that correct?
Yes.
And there's one. Okay. So am I correct that there's actually 3 arcs there, 3 estimated arcs, but they're all one on top of the other.
Correct.
Okay. So in other words, the phone, the tower is estimated 3 times that's where the phone was along that arc.
Correct.
Okay. 71316, that's just the one time that the phone estimated, or that the North Tower estimated that the phone was just a few feet south.
I know you're summarizing testimony, but it's really leading into leading. Objection.
I understand. I'll do it differently on the 71316 line. Could you explain why that is different from the 3 lines that are all together right above it?
At 7:13 and 16 seconds, the signal would have had a slight variation in the timing that it reached the phone.
Okay, and then the same for, you've got on the other side, you've got 708, 704, and 706. Those are just single readings,
Correct.
and each one of those generated an arc coming off the South Tower.
That's correct.
Okay, and then 705, 707, 708, 713, 11, 713, 12. There are how many different arcs associated with those timestamps?
That one arc is associated with all those timestamps.
Okay, so 5 times the South Tower estimated that that's where the phone was?
That's correct.
Okay. And where these come together is it a good indication of where the phone is physically located?
Correct.
All right, thank you. Nothing further.
The phone, to be clear, could be anywhere on the arc, correct?
Which arc?
So if we look at 70830, that phone could be anywhere on that arc, correct? That's why you have the line there.
Correct.
And while Mr. McCready asked you about lines coming together, your testimony when I talked to you was it would be an estimate, correct?
Correct.
Thank you. No additional questions.
Nothing further. All right, can council approach? I have some questions from the jurors. We have 3 questions from jurors. It's my understanding that the attorneys are in agreement that they all may be asked.
That's correct, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay. So the first question is, in what ways would a cell phone lose all contact with a cell phone tower?
So if a cell phone's losing contact with the network or a single tower, I can answer both. If it's losing contact with a tower, it could be because it's out of range of that specific tower. If it's losing contact with all towers, an example of that would be if your phone died, if it was placed into airplane mode, if it was destroyed, if it was powered off, or if it was out of range too.
If the end time for one session is 7:05 a.m., why are the arcs saying 7:13 a.m.?
So those are 2 separate data sets. The end time 7:05, that was the data session itself. So you're just getting the access on the side of the tower. And the 7:13, 7:14 are associated to the arc. So those are the network essentially sending signals to the device. Those signals are timed. And based on the timing of those signals, those distances are provided.
can you tell if the phone was on at a certain time? If so, was it on at 7:47 a.m.?
At 7:47 a.m., there were no records indicating that the phone was on the network anymore.
All right, Mr. McCready, anything else in follow-up to those questions?
So just to be clear, when is the last time that you are certain that the phone was connected to the network?
At 7:14.
Okay, thank you.
So you referred to two towers, if we refer to them as north and south. When you did your analysis, you did not have the device connecting to another tower after the north and south towers that we have in your presentation, correct?
Correct.
And then just one last question, because I want to make sure I'm clear on it. So a data session, if I were to Google when a movie starts, would that be a data session on my phone?
If you're not connected to Wi-Fi, yes.
Okay, so because based on the question that you were asked, you said the data session is different than the device signal when it's connecting to the tower. Could you explain that for us a little bit?
The difference between the data sessions and the tower registration?
Yes.
So the data sessions are going to be usage on the Verizon network that's billable to the customer. And the network performance stuff that has the distance readings from those towers, those are all Verizon generated records.
What are examples of data sessions?
An example of a data session would be if you pull up your phone and are using an app that accesses the internet, if you get an email notification, if you're browsing the web, if you're watching a video on YouTube, things of that nature.
So the last data session ended at roughly 7:05, but then the device continued to connect with the towers until late, soon after that, right? 7:13, I believe.
Correct.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
I'll second. Thank you.
Okay. May Ms. Ziegler be excused from her subpoena?
Yes.
Yes, and may we approach very briefly?
You may. Thank you, and you are free to leave. All right. Who would the people like to call as their next
We can
witness?
call Devin Newell, but I just want to make sure I can get back. I can place that.
Sure.
Okay. People would call Devin Newell.
Would you raise your right hand, sir? Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under penalty for perjury?
I do.
Okay, you can have a seat.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Could you please tell us your name and spell it for the record?
Devin Newell, Devin Newell.
All right, thank you. And where do you work?
I work for General Motors.
And what position do you have?
My title is Senior Manager and Senior Technical Expert.
All right. And does your job have anything to do or any interaction with OnStar?
It certainly does. My primary role is to investigate the field performance of our advanced driver assist systems. That's a fancy word for automatic emergency braking, forward collision alert, super cruise. So as I investigate how those things are operating in the field, a lot of what I do is look about data that comes from those vehicles. Some of that data is contained inside modules inside the vehicle. Other data that we look at comes through telematics, or said differently, sent from the vehicle back to servers. So OnStar is the general name for a lot of the services that we provide at General Motors. It's also a general term used for data that leaves the vehicle and gets sent to some servers.
Okay. And how does OnStar record the data?
There's a lot of different data that OnStar records, and there's a lot of different features that OnStar provides for customers as well. I think many folks are aware of some of the interaction with, we have live advisors. So if your vehicle is involved in an accident, if you have that type of subscription service with us, we can, the vehicle can automatically call an advisor, and that advisor can come and get assistance sent to your vehicle. While that type of work is going on, data can come from the vehicle and sent to the back office as well. That's one kind of service that OnStar provides that many folks are aware of. Another more common service that we have relates to applications that you can get downloaded onto your mobile phone. I use the term OnStar mobile app. Depending upon what vehicle you'll have, it may have a Cadillac mobile app or a Chevy mobile app associated with that. On that mobile app, we allow you to do lots of interactions between your phone and the vehicle. One that lots of folks are familiar with is the ability to remote start the vehicle from your phone. You can use that type of interaction with that. That's a different set of data. As you are interacting with that mobile application on your phone, the OnStar or Cadillac app that's on your phone, we collect data regarding what the customer is doing and how they're doing it. We primarily collect that data to understand how our customers are using their features, to understand if there's problems with them, and or to develop better features and new features in the future.
You mentioned the My Cadillac app. What does that particularly do?
Oh, okay, so they
It does a number of different things. Again, it's an app on your phone, like a lot of different apps. It can allow you to press buttons on it to remote start your vehicle, honk your horns, unlock the vehicle, lock the vehicle. It allows you to also understand the status of your vehicle, how much oil life you have left, how much tire pressure is in your air, how much fuel is left. You can also use it to understand the location of your vehicle. You can also use it to buy products. You can also use it to set up a map from where you are to where you'd like to go. Those are a lot of the features that this OnStar mobile app on your phone, some of them that you can do.
So you mentioned, diagnostic things that the vehicle itself would transmit to OnStar, and you keep those records. Do you also keep records of the person who's using the My Cadillac app on your site in OnStar?
If you have an OnStar account with us, an OnStar subscription, like a lot of other subscriptions you may have on your phone or in your vehicle, we have account information. We know who is on the account. We know your address, things like that. We would certainly know that too. And relative to the phone that's being used, we collect certain information that helps us understand the phone that you have, what type of phone that you have. Again, so we can understand if a particular phone or is having issues with our apps and understand how to make more features based on the type of phone that you may have.
Were you asked to produce the records? In this case, they had to do with the Cadillac Escalade.
That's correct. The search warrant was sent to General Motors for a particular 2016 Cadillac, asking for information that we may have, records that we may have relative to OnStar services and features we provided to this particular 2016 Cadillac Escalade.
Okay.
It's okay. I'm going to move this microphone just a little bit to allow me to manipulate the paper. Thank you. I hope everybody would still hear me okay.
All right, do you recognize what I just handed you?
I do. These look familiar to the records and accounts that we provided, printed out over obviously a large number of papers.
Okay. Do you know approximately how many pages there are there?
Over 400 or so. I know some of the records were 80, 60, 70 pages long, 120 pages long. I didn't count the exact number, but you can see by the height and weight, there's a lot.
The top page is actually the last page in there, and it's a date stamp.
I do see this page here. Down at the bottom, there's a bait stamp of OnStar. The last three digits are 583.
What does that indicate to you?
We label all of the documents we provide you. We start with a 1, and then we end with the last one that we have here. If this is the last page, that would say that there's 583 pages produced as part of the response to that search warrant.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to show you what's People's 29. Do you recognize that?
I do.
What is it?
That would be a representation of the OnStar mobile app that would have been available in the April 2021 timeframe. Like a lot of apps on your phone, depending on what type of phone you have, exactly how it looks may be a little bit different. But that's how it would have looked for 2016 Escalade in April of 2021 for an iPhone 12 Pro Max.
Okay, so the display would be different depending on what device you were using to the software on?
Yeah, that's correct. If you had a much older version of an iPhone, it may look a little bit different. We'll also let you use iPads and devices like that too. So depending on just length and width and height of the phone, it changes a little bit. I think all folks kind of understand what you had on your first iPhone 2 is probably different than an iPhone. I think 17 is the latest one now, may look a little bit different.
Okay. All right, so I'm zooming in on the bottom part of this, and can you explain the various icons here?
Yes, these are examples I talked about before of buttons. I call them buttons you can press on your phone to have certain features occur here. You can certainly see the start in the middle. That's to remote start your vehicle. You can also see a sound alarm, stop the alarm, lock and unlock. Those are the 5 icons there.
Okay, and do you know, is there any, does the software require you to put your finger on there for a certain time before it will activate that button?
That's correct. In the engineering terms, we call it a debounce time. We don't, we try to prevent buttons from being accidentally hit. So for these buttons here, the bounce time is about 500 milliseconds, around half a second. It's not a lot of time, but enough time where it works to make sure we understand you're pressing it, but not so easy that you accidentally press it.
Okay. All right, and on the bottom here is a view more button. What happens if you push that?
If you hit the view more button, that would allow you there. These are 5 kind of commands on the main screen there. If you hit view more, it would keep those 5 and show you other ones like flash alarms and things like that.
Okay. How do you get to this screen here?
I go back to the first page. Down at the very light.
Oops, sorry.
Down in the lower right-hand corner, there's, it looks like 9 buttons there. It also says the word more on it there as well. There you go. You'd hit that button there, and that would take you to the second screen that you had up there.
Okay. And so these are more options?
That's correct.
All right. I'm particularly interested in the second one. What is that?
If you hit It would then cause another screen to pop up that would show you the location of your vehicle as part of a map. Interesting enough, if you also hit the navigation button, that would pop up the same thing. It would show you where you're at. The navigation would allow you then to enter an address as to where you want it to go. So both vehicle locate and navigation will pull up a screen that looks like this one here.
Okay. On your end at OnStar, do those register as different things if you're trying to locate the vehicle versus pull up a map?
Relative to the reports and how we restore them, they look the same. They look as a get vehicle location is the primary aspect of it.
Okay. And is this a map of essentially what it would look like?
This is the screen that we provided you. This is the Warren Technical Center at General Motors Warren Technical Center in Warren. This is a representation of a vehicle that's sitting on our campus there in Warren.
Okay. All right. So the records that you produced, were they over a date range?
That's correct. Based on the search warrant, we were asked to look for and produce records. The beginning start time is January 1st, 2020 through April 28th, 2021.
Okay. And do your records indicate the type of device that is using the My Cadillac app?
It's on a couple different pages here. You were asking me about vehicle location. So if I take you to first to a report up the top, it says SRT 110, OnStar Records request for branded app vehicle commands. Okay. On this particular report, as again, we record information relative to interactions with the vehicle. This particular report captures interactions with, the term here says branded app, but the OnStar app on your phone or the Cadillac app on your phones. When you're doing one of the vehicle commands that we previously talked about, lock, unlock, flashlight, or vehicle location requests, we would record those as part of this here. In the very right-hand column, it says device ID. So for each mobile type device that you have, once you start using it, we assign it a device ID. Okay, it's unique device ID to the device that you're using. It's not the cell phone of the device you're using. There are other electronic information inside a cell phone or an iPad that may be unique to that. We don't have a need to record that as part of our work, so we give it a General Motors based device ID here. So to answer your question, the far right column is the device ID.
Okay. And so if do you record when somebody makes an account, do they have to give their name and address and all that?
That's correct.
Okay. Did that happen here?
Yes, it did. I could take you to page 3 of 9. I'm going to call it SRT 040, account details. I take you to the 3rd page of this document that you're. All right, thank you. Like many apps that you have, or subscription services that you may have, up at the top there, in the upper right-hand corner, there's the account number associated with the account here. We have the vehicle identification number, the VIN. That's a 17-digit number that's unique to a particular vehicle. The requesting authority, this TC 982272, that's simply a number General Motors assigned to the search warrant that we received here. We've got a search start date and an end date here. Those are the dates I previously referenced here. And then the other information here is, as it kind of almost plainly says, account information. We tell you when it was opened, we tell you the status. We identify it in this case as a personal account versus like a commercial account. We identify the owners of the account and their phone numbers here, as well as an address.
Okay, and the account owners here.
I see 2 account owners associated with it. The first is Dale Warner. And the second is D Warner.
Okay. All right. And then if we go back to the records that you were just mentioning before with the device ID, which report was that?
SRT 110.
And I just want to ask about, for example, here we have at the top, we've got a device ID ending in 36F4. I'm sorry, let me just go back to the very first page.
I'm also on page,
Yep.
yeah,
Yep, there we go.
page 1 there. There's a device ID here. It's got a lot of digits here, but we'll say to the last 4, FD96.
Okay. And who generates that device ID?
That device ID, General Motors generates that. It's unique to the device that's being logged in. Again, it's not the phone number, it's not a serial number of the device. We just assign our own device ID to it, so we understand what type of device we're using to, but not necessarily recording the customer's phone number or other information as part of that.
Okay, so that is a unique device. You don't ever give that number to another device.
That's correct.
Okay. All right. And do you know also what type of devices are using the app?
We do. If I take you to the last page of our production here, page 583. This is a bit of decoder ring for that information. The first column is the device ID. We tell you when that device ID first logged in. We tell you when our last login or last known login of that device is. What version of app is being run on it, what carrier is being used, Verizon versus AT&T, device type, and then this device model and device name can help you understand what type of device it was.
Okay. And so do you see that first device that we were just talking about listed in the device IDs?
Yes, FD96. I see that as a device model iPhone 7, 2. That's how Apple identifies it. The brand or marketing name for that one is actually an iPhone 6.
Right. And so there are 4 different device models that you have in your records. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right. And can you take us from the top and tell us what kinds of devices those are?
Sure. An iPad 6, 8. That's iPad Pro. iPhone 7, 2. That's an iPhone 6. iPad 6, 8. Again, that's iPad Pro. The last one, iPhone 13, 4. The marketing name for that would be an iPhone 12 Pro Max.
Okay. All right. So, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, but each device, even if it's on the same account, is going to get a different device ID.
That's correct.
Okay. Does a user have to generate a username?
Yes, they do.
Okay.
When you're logging on to many apps that you have a username and a password that you have to generate to use.
And is it up to the user what username they select?
Yes, it is.
Okay, is there a username or one or more usernames here?
I'm going to take you to SRT 120. At the top, it says SRT 120, OnStar records request for branded app, login activity.
Okay.
67 pages here. The second column here is the username associated with the app on the phone.
And was there one or more than one username?
I think there's close to 1,000 different login applications here, and only one username is inside of these.
Okay. And what is that username?
Just reading from the second column there, WARAG@me.com.
Okay. Now, does OnStar record the number of times that someone tried to locate the vehicle?
Yes, we do. SRT 110, I had this up previously. SRT 110, OnStar records request for branded app, vehicle commands. So this report, about 82 pages long, identifies all the vehicle commands or requests made from the mobile app. from January 1st, 2020 through April 28th, 2021.
Okay. And how many pages did you say this report is? Just
82 pages. I believe the total number of requests is in excess of 2,100.
okay. And that's 2,100 what's?
21 individual commands being pressed into the phone for on the mobile app.
Okay. You say 21 or 2,100?
2,100.
Okay.
2,100.
Okay, great. And so 2,100 times what happened?
Well, in these vehicle commands, there are three types of commands, having studied the report, three different types of commands being made here. The majority of them are requests to get vehicle location. If I take you to the fourth column over there, request type, get vehicle location. So from the mobile app that was shown earlier, that would be either hitting the more button to get to the second screen and then hitting vehicle location and or hitting navigation. So if a customer did those, that would be recorded as a single line in this sheet here. Additionally, there are, I want to make sure I say the word properly here. Let me find an example of it. All right, if I take you to page 82 of 82. And again, under request type, we already talked about get vehicle location. There's a request type for get vehicle data, and there's also a request type for unlock doors. Those were the three vehicle commands or requests that were made in this 82-page report over the 16-month period we were talked. Get vehicle location, as we talked about, provides the location on a map that we said. Get vehicle data, that was one of the other buttons on the main screen there. Again, it shows you things like tire pressure, oil life, fuel remaining. And then lastly, unlock doors. I think it's fairly self-explanatory. You press that button there and it would work to unlock the doors of the vehicle.
So as you look at these, the get vehicle location is either someone asking where the vehicle is or someone asking to get to the navigation screen.
That's correct.
Okay. And as you look at these records, let's go back to the first page, for example. We have all the ones that are shown on the screen here look like it's the same device doing these requests.
That's correct.
Okay. And can you, as you've looked at these, can you give us a summary of this particular device and how often it did a get vehicle location request out of our 82 pages, for example?
Throughout the 82 pages, there's primarily three devices that are used to do this. I mentioned them before, an iPhone 6, an iPad Pro, and an iPhone 12 Pro Max. The majority of the requests, I think over 1,700, if I counted roughly properly, are from an iPhone 6. There's roughly
So I know technically this mumbo jumbo in regards to where her vehicle was, how it was, what it was doing, at what time, all of that stuff just sounds like a whole bunch of mumbo jumbo. But the GM, the OnStar guy that's on the stand currently right now, he is just going to be giving us some more of the digital footprint that we were able to hear about, you know, her phone, the technical stuff in regards to where her phone was at, her last call. And this guy's just also providing more digital footprint in regards to where Dee's vehicle was at the time that she disappeared. So hopefully, I'm hoping that he's not going to go on. I know he said he got all of these records from 2020 to 2021. I'm hoping we don't have to go into that much, but of course, his testimony is not about the intent or the motive. His is just really a technical foundational evidence. So where the phone was and where the vehicle was, and you know, we know that Dale allegedly had a tracking device on her vehicle. So we'll see what more he has to offer. But I know it's a lot of mumbo jumbo. I did speed it up for us, guys. So hopefully it's not too fast for you, but I did kind of like, yeah, put it on 1.25 so we can see if we can get through his testimony. Knowing, you know, if a car pulled in, if a car pulled out, if it went down the street, if it made a left or right, did it have a crash alert, whatever he about to tell us about Dee's car. Okay, here we go, guys.
150 or more to the iPad Pro. And then finally, somewhere in the neighborhood of 60 done with iPhone 12 Pro Max.
Okay. Let's go to page 77. Actually, no, 78 of SRT 110.
Okay, I'm on page 78 with you.
All right, so do you see we've got a request start time and a request end time, and you've got a number of records on March 4th.
That's correct.
Okay, and then it skips to March 22nd.
That's correct.
All right, is there a device switch between the 4th and the 22nd?
Yes, if you look at the device ID, which is the last column, looking only at the last 4 digits to make it a little bit easier for us, you can see that all the requests on March 4th on this date were done by device ID 36F4, and there are no requests between March 4th and March 5th and March 21st, but on March 22nd, 2021, it now switches to device with the last 4 digits, 17F7.
I'm sorry. So March 4th, it's 36F4. When we get to, there's nothing in between then and the 22nd, and it switches to 17F7. Is that correct?
17F7, that is correct,
Okay.
beginning on March 22nd.
All right. And do you have handy what kind of device was 17F7?
17F4 was iPhone 13-4. Again, the commercial name for that is iPhone 12 Pro Max.
Is that 17F7?
17F7.
Okay, great, thank you. And to your knowledge, did that device appear before March 22, 2021?
No, it did not.
Okay, so that's the first appearance. Does any device appear between March 22nd, 2021 and the end of your records?
The only device from March 22nd through the end of our records, which ends on April 25th, 2021, is the device ID 17F7, iPhone 12 Pro Max.
Okay. And how many vehicle locates did it do between March 22nd and April 25, 2021?
I counted those. I believe that to be 59 vehicle location requests in that time frame.
Okay. Now you also mentioned that your records indicate whenever someone uses the app to unlock the car, correct?
That's correct.
And how many times in this, from January 1, 2020 till April 25, 2021, was the app used to unlock the car?
In that entire time frame, roughly 16 months, it was only used to unlock the door twice.
Okay. And when was the first one?
March 25th, 2021,
And when was the second one?
April 25th, 2021.
And what time?
April 25th, 2021, 7:08:38 a.m.
Okay. And was that also by the device ending in 17F7,
That is correct.
the same device that had been used the previous 59 times to locate the vehicle?
That's correct.
All right, thank you.
Good afternoon, is Mr. Newell.
Yes,
Am I pronouncing that
good afternoon.
correctly?
You did pronounce it correctly.
Thank you. My name is Mary Chartier. Ms. Saylor is going to pull up the government's Exhibit 29, which would be our page 32. You do an excellent job marketing OnStar with all the different things that it can do. So I want to ask you about some of its features. You know the photograph of the app that was pulled up. Ms. Saylor is pulling that up for us right now, correct? Mr. McCready just showed it.
Yeah, yes, it is.
So
yes.
while she's pulling it up, did it look like that in 2021? Do you
Yes,
know?
that's what it would have looked like on an iPhone 12 Pro Max, April 2021.
And then would you go to the next page for us? So the more button, which has things like Explore EV, is that what that looked like in 2021 as well?
If that's the second slide we put up, that's what it would have looked like at that point in time.
Okay, so Cadillac had electronic vehicles at that time?
Yes, we did.
Okay, terrific. So if you could go back to the other one. So this would be a good representation of what it would look like on the phone. Accurate?
That's correct.
Now, do you use, be careful with your answer, right? Do you use OnStar?
I do.
Okay, great. If you said no, that might have a different job you're looking for. So do you use it to like track a vehicle location? So for your children, a spouse, a partner, something like that to see where they are?
I don't use the OnStar app for that particular purpose, no.
Okay, have you ever used it for that?
No.
Okay, so you may not be the person for me to ask then. But so this is what I'm going to ask, and maybe you can talk me through it. So you said you don't use it for that particular purpose. What do you use OnStar for?
Remote starting my vehicle on cold winter mornings is one of the primary ones.
That's smart.
Unlocking it on my way out to the vehicle could be another. I occasionally use it to download navigation information to the vehicle. My vehicle currently happens to be an electric vehicle, so I use that to understand my current state of charge and how well it's charging.
Okay, terrific. So then you use it enough for, I think, for me to ask you this. So if you want to get into that, there's an app on your phone, you press that app. Is that accurate?
That's correct.
And then that screen will come up, or something that looks like it.
Assuming that you're logged in.
Right.
Okay. If you can set this up to continuously leave you logged in, or you can set it up that you have to log in every time. I have my one that I use for my company vehicle always logged in, so it pops up to a screen. My GMC Denali looks different than this, but fundamentally an opening screen looks like this pops up when I hit the app on my phone.
So then if you wanted to find where a vehicle was, what would you press?
I'd hit the more button.
Okay, so you'd hit the more button, and then you'd go to the next screen. And then you would hit what?
Vehicle locate.
Vehicle
Be more
locate.
common.
So I was a little confused when you said that navigation, so it would show up on a singular line. Could you explain what you mean by that when you talked about get vehicle data and navigation? And I was a little confused about your testimony.
Sure. There's two buttons up here. One that clearly says vehicle locate. The other one says navigation. If you press either one of those things, as it gets reported into this thing here, it looks the same. It would still say get vehicle location. Of course, one of the reasons for that is when you're going to start navigation, you need to know where you're at in order to get where you're at. So the first thing it does is figures out, get your vehicle location, and then you can set up a navigation from there.
So if I were driving the car and I wanted to navigate, and I pressed navigation, and then it told me how to get to a particular place, it would show up in the report as get vehicle location.
Yes, if you were driving a vehicle and hit navigation and then entered into to use it, you'd have to enter in the location that you want to go to. On this report here, it would say look the same. It would say get vehicle location.
Thank you. Now you said and I'd never heard this phrase before, the debounce time was half a second.
That's correct.
Okay, so that's the amount of time essentially you're pressing the button.
That's correct.
Might it take a little bit for things to load? So when I was looking at the report, sometimes there were things almost going on simultaneously. So for instance, if somebody pressed get vehicle location or navigate, and then, well, actually it would be vehicle locate. So either vehicle locate or navigation. Then it was taking a little while. Does that happen sometimes where it takes a little while to load?
When I hit the button, if I reach the 500 millisecond times, yes, it could take a little while for it to load. It has to locate your vehicle. Okay. It has to make a request to the vehicle to find it. And it could, everybody knows who's tried to make a cell phone call, they don't always go through the first time. It could take some time to find it. Yes.
Can I press the button again while I'm waiting for it to load if I'm an impatient person?
You certainly can.
And then the report shows hour, minutes, and second that the request began, correct?
That's correct.
And then it shows when the request ends.
That's correct.
It also shows a duration.
That's correct.
Is it accurate that the duration rounds up or down? So for instance, some of them, I looked at one, it said 15.783, but then if you look at the actual start and end time, it rounds up to 16.
That's correct. The request and start times are rounded to seconds, whereas the request duration is in seconds taken to hundreds of seconds.
Thank you. Does OnStar have a lockout prevention? So if I leave my keys in the car, can I lock it?
Yes, you can.
Okay. So by using, how would I do that? So I leave my keys in the car. How do I lock it?
You would use the OnStar app, and many folks do this. It's not carry their keys around. You would leave your keys in the car. You'd open up the OnStar app. You'd hit the lock button. You'd wait for it to lock. A lot of times you stand there and wait for the click, and you hear the vehicle lock.
Thank you. And then with all the amazing things that OnStar can do, it cannot tell you who is exactly pushing the button, correct?
No, we can't.
And it certainly can't tell you why, correct?
Their intention behind pressing the button? No.
Right. Okay, great. Thank you, sir. No further questions.
Yeah, we definitely had to make that point. It's like, who was behind the computer? We don't know who was behind the computer screen.
Do the records reflect anything different if you access the map for navigation? Is there any difference at all? If you
As it relates to these records, we see that as a get vehicle location request, and that's how we record it here relative to vehicle commands.
Okay. We mentioned the iPhone Pro Max.
iPhone 12 Pro Max.
iPhone 12 Pro Max. The iPhone 6, is it correct that that does not show up anymore after the iPhone 12 Pro Max starts accessing the record or the app?
That's correct. Looking at the SRT 110, starting in March 22nd, 2021, all the vehicle commands are done by the iPhone 12 Pro Max and not done by any iPad or any iPhone 6.
Great, thank you.
I just, probably two quick questions for you. So if I press the vehicle locate button, that will show me where it is at a given time, correct?
That's correct.
If I leave the screen open, will it show the vehicle move, or do I have to press again to see if the vehicle moves?
At this time, you'd have to press the button the second time to see it where it's at.
Great, thank you.
May we excuse Mr. Newell from his speech?
Yes.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you for your time, sir. You're free to go.
Thank you.
Oh, they didn't ask the jury if they had any questions. What's up with that?
We'll take a recess. We'll break for about 10 minutes, and we'll come back and continue.
We shall not break. We're going to speed right past that break.
All right, we are back on the record. There is an evidentiary issue that we need to resolve before our next witness. So, Mr. McCree, if you would like to proceed with argument that you have on that, you can do that.
Judge, the issue is the 404B notice that we provided and what is its scope in regard to this particular witness. Obviously, the purpose of the 404B notice is so that the defense is understands what type of evidence we are seeking to admit and has the chance to meet it. As we were preparing for this witness, a couple of things became apparent. One is that our notice did not specifically say, we talked about arguments between Dale and Dee. Madison Wolf would testify that she saw many of these arguments, but one in particular, Dale had his hands on Dee's upper arms and was shaking her. So I guess our first point is that in terms of, and also I would say that that piece of evidence, that fact, was in the Michigan State Police report regarding Madison Wolf. So that has been in the evidence and in the discovery for over a year. And my argument would be that that is part of the argument 404B notice that we provided. Is it a more physical argument than the others, but it would still fit under the rubric of an argument, a face-to-face argument between Dale and Dee. The second issue is that she would also.
What is that he doing in between these sentences? Is this clearing his throat? What is that about? Oh my gosh. Is that like a habit or something? Oh my. It is so like every 2 seconds. It must be a habit. It must be a habit that he has or something, because yeah, this has to be a habit. I can't believe he need to clear his throat like that. If so, then he need to go get some water.
Testify that about 6 months before Dee went missing, she saw a bruise, a mark at Dee's hairline, consistent with the testimony of Stephanie Vocal, who testified that it was about that same time frame and the same spot on her head. And that was specifically part of our 404B notice, that Stephanie Vocal would testify to that fact. So again, the defense is on notice that that kind of testimony would be elicited under 404B, and we think both of these instances would fit under at least the general understanding of this is the type of evidence that we are seeking to admit, and it would be under the same theory that we had argued that the 404B evidence was admissible under, and that the court, at least in part, ruled in our favor.
Thank you, Your Honor. The court is well aware of the notice, and number 3 in the notice indicated that Dale and Dee regularly argued in person and via text. There's absolutely no mention of Ms. Wolf anywhere in the notice. They do reference other individuals, including Ms. Vocal. So when we responded and filed our motion to conclude, and then the government filed a reply to that, we were able to specifically pinpoint what individuals had said in their interviews, as well as under oath in the case of Ms. Vocal. So to just say, well, there's a number 3 says they regularly argue, does not put the defense on notice that Ms. Wolf would come in and claim that she saw Mr. Warner holding Ms. Warner's shoulders during an argument. Likewise, for the mark on her hairline, the government specifically mentions Ms. Volkel, but noticeably precludes Ms. Wolf. And so given that Ms. Wolf is about to testify, and essentially we were notified of this morning, and that was part of what we had discussed in chambers, I would ask the court to preclude that. Late notice, unfair surprise, and unfairly prejudicial to Mr. Warner. Thank you.
I'll just also indicate that the motion was for both the statute 768.27B and for the other issues.
Okay, so both the statute 768.27B and Court Rule 404B require notice of the other acts that the people would like to present evidence about. So the question first is whether the notice in this case was sufficient with respect to this incident. And in looking at the people's notice, they listed, I think, 8 separate things. Some of them were general categories. Others were specific incidents with respect to specific people. And at this point, the people are requesting to admit evidence with respect to a specific issue, which I think would qualify as an act under 768.27B, indicating that they provided notice in item number 3, Dale and B regularly argued in person and via text. I don't think that that notice is sufficient to give the defense a real understanding of what incident was the people are trying to admit under that category. It's a general category. It doesn't make any reference to any specific incident. It doesn't make any reference to any report, although it is disclosed in a report. It doesn't make any reference to any report to tell them what we might be talking about or who even might be testifying about it. So I don't think that the notice was sufficient to cover this incident. The court is allowed to reduce the notice period if there is a showing of good cause. I don't think there has been a showing of good cause in this case, and so I don't see a reason to reduce the notice period that is required. I also believe that allowing this evidence without notice, which defense was not made aware of this until this morning, maybe 3 or 4 or 5 hours ago at this point, I think that impairs their ability to prepare their examination of this witness. And so for those reasons, I would indicate that the Ms. Wolf's testimony cannot include the incident of the grabbing, shaking, whatever that was. With respect to witnessing the bump on the head or the goose egg, my previous ruling on that was that that was simply an observation of the condition of the person, and it was admissible without respect to either 768.27 or 404B. And so I think that that is admissible for the same reason it was with respect to the other witnesses. But, all right, are we ready to bring the jury back?
Yes, yes.
May be seated.
Right, the people may call their next witness.
Again, are people called Madison Wolf?
Ms. Wolf, I ask you to raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under penalty for perjury?
Yes.
Okay, you can go ahead and sit down. Please try to keep your voice up as much as possible so that we can all hear you.
Good afternoon. Please tell us your name and spell it for the record.
Yes. My name is Madison Wolf. It's MADISONWOLF.
And do you go by Madison or something else?
Maddie.
Okay. And did you know Dee Warner?
Yes.
How did you know her?
I started working for her back in 2015, I believe. I was like a personal assistant and a nanny.
And how old were you at that point in time?
16.
Okay, so it's still in high school?
Mhm.
Okay, you have to say yes or no. Sorry.
Yes. Sorry.
And I mean, how did you even know Dee at that point in time?
So I started 4-H. My parents had separated, so I was trying to find something to do. And then during 4-H, she needed someone to work for her, so I introduced myself, and it kind of just went from there.
And what kinds of things did you do?
I watched Alina. She kind of had different tasks for me to do. I'd work in the office. I would clean the home, go with her, get groceries, stuff like that.
Okay, and what kind of a schedule? Was it just random or did you have a set schedule?
She was really good with working with my schedule, but it was like a Monday through Friday thing.
Okay, so every day during the week you're over there?
Yes. Yes.
And what about weekends?
I would go over and hang out with her on the weekends.
Okay, so did you develop a personal relationship with her then?
Correct.
And tell us about that.
She was like a mom to me. She really stepped up when I needed somebody. So
You indicated your parents were going through a divorce.
correct.
Okay, did Dee kind of step in then?
Correct.
All right. And so would you do things, besides just at the house? Like if they went on vacation, would you watch the house or what would you do?
I did go on vacation with them to Disney.
Okay, once or more than once?
Just the one time.
And when you watched Lena, what kinds of things would you do with Lena?
It just depended. Like we would cook, we would bake, we'd go outside. I would take her to the store, stuff like that.
Okay, and would you do things just with Dee?
No, it was usually with Lena too.
Okay. Oh, also with Lena.
Mhm.
Okay. And what kinds of things would the three of you do?
Shopping.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was the big one?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you feel like you were close to her?
Yes.
How would you describe her as a person?
Very loving. She would back you in any situation possible. Kind-hearted, very strong woman.
Okay. Would you describe her as tech savvy?
Not necessarily. I mean, she wasn't really good with electronics. I tended to help her with a lot of that.
Okay. Passwords. How was she on remembering passwords?
Not good at all. I actually like memorized most of her passwords because she would get logged out.
Okay. Did you ever drive in Escalade with her?
Like ride in the Escalade?
Correct.
Correct.
About how many times? A couple times or almost weekly or what?
Weekly?
Did you ever see her use her phone for navigation?
Yes.
And do you know what kind of app that she would use to navigate?
Just the Apple like map on
Okay.
the phone.
Did you ever see her use My Cadillac for navigation?
Not that I'm aware of.
Did you ever see My Cadillac even on her phone?
Not that I'm aware of.
And how many hours do you think you would be at the Munger residence on a normal day, like a normal weekday?
It depends. Like I would go to school, I'd get off at 3, I'd hang out there until maybe like 7 or 8 o'clock. And then sometimes I would stay or sometimes I'd go back home.
So sometimes you would spend the night.
Correct.
Okay. And was that just a random thing or would there be specific instances where you'd stay the night?
It started off when I would just watch Lena and she'd be going out. I would stay with Lena. But then it kind of just sometimes I was just staying to hang out.
You mentioned shopping was a big event. What would you do with the purchases when you got home?
Sometimes we would leave them in the car or I would take them up through the attic and put them in the one of the rooms upstairs.
Okay, which car would you normally take?
The Cadillac
And where would you park it when you got back, normally speaking?
in the garage.
And so sometimes you would leave the purchases in the Escalade?
Correct.
Why would you leave them in there?
Objection, speculation, and hearsay.
If you know for your own personal knowledge.
Like from what she had told me.
Is that like how you know?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Then I will move on. You said the other thing you did was to take them up through the attic, if I got that correctly?
Correct.
And what does that mean?
Like I would go through the garage up to the attic so Dale wouldn't see the purchases.
Objection, move to strike based on hearsay and speculation.
Okay, I agree.
So I'll sustain the objection and strike that answer, direct the jury not to consider that.
Could you just tell us, without what anybody said, what you actually did when you went through the attic?
I would walk up the stairs. I would open the door, walk up the stairs, and then I'd have to go through another door to get to the house.
Okay, and this was with the packages and the things that you bought when you were shopping.
Correct.
Okay, and what would you do with them? You took them up through the attic. Would you leave them in the attic then?
No, it would go into a bedroom.
In which bedroom?
The one with the pool table,
Is that the first floor or second floor?
second floor.
And access to the attic, where was that? Where would you get to the attic from?
So when you went up the stairs, there was like
Where do the stairs start? I guess that's what I'm asking.
from the garage or from the inside of the house.
So where would you access them after you get out of the Escalade? Where do you go?
Yes. So in the garage, there was 2 steps to get into the house. Instead of going through the door straight, you would take the door to the left, and then there'd be like a staircase up that way.
Okay, so you could get to the attic without going into the house is what you're saying?
Correct.
Okay, and that's the way you would go?
Correct.
Perfect. Did you have a chance to observe the state of Dale and Dee's marriage?
Yes.
How would you describe it?
In the beginning, I didn't know them that well, so it seemed like it was okay. And then over time, you could see that it was more like a business-oriented relationship.
Okay. What kinds of things did you observe that made you make that conclusion?
They were always arguing about money
Okay, and how often would you say always was?
weekly.
Okay, and you observed these arguments?
Correct.
Did you observe Dale trying to touch Dee,
Yes.
and what was her reaction?
You could tell she was grossed out by it. Just kind of, I don't know.
Objection based on speculation.
Could you just, yes, I'll ask a different question.
All right, so sustained.
Could you describe exactly what she would do?
She would pull away.
Okay, thank you. Was there ever talk of divorce from Dee?
Yes.
And how often?
She would bring it up quite a bit to me
And was this over this whole time you knew her or what?
in the last 3 years before she went missing.
Okay. And did you observe them arguing, you said?
Yes.
Can you describe how that went?
It was more like Dee talking about a situation. She had a very stern voice when she talked, and then Dale would kind of just sit there and listen, and then sometimes he would get upset.
Okay. And can you describe, so what Dee was doing, can you describe that in physical terms?
Can you rephrase that?
Sure. I mean, you said that Dee seems like the initiator of these arguments.
Mhm.
What would she do?
She talked with her hands a lot.
Okay. And can you tell us what she did with her hands?
She'd usually have them up or point and stuff.
Okay. And you said Dale was calm at first?
Yeah, he would just kind of stand there with hands down.
Okay. And did you see him sometimes act in a way that wasn't calm?
Yes.
And describe that.
There was one time where he had grabbed her shoulders. Oh,
okay.
Sorry.
So to the police, you used let me move on from there. Sorry. Did you ever see Dale talking in a way to Dee that you didn't like?
He would talk he would almost yell stern, if that's
Okay.
what you're asking.
Yes. Explain that.
I can't remember a specific what word for word what was said. It was just more of a very stern to yelling.
Okay. Would he call her names?
Not that I can recall.
Okay. Did he call you names?
Depends on what you mean by names.
Okay. What did he have a nickname for you that you didn't like?
Objection, relevance.
It's relevant to their interaction.
The issue is the relationship between Ms. Warner and Mr. Warner, not Mr. Warner and Ms. Wolf.
Well, if she was present for arguments and this was happening in that context, I think there's some relevance, so I will overrule that objection.
Okay. Did he have a nickname for you that you didn't like?
Yes,
What did he call you?
Fluffy.
And what did that mean to you?
I used to be severely overweight, and so that's something that he would call me.
What does fluffy mean?
There was a comedian, a Hispanic comedian, that he would refer it to.
Did you ever use do you know what the sleeping arrangements were between Dale and Dee?
Yes.
What were they?
Most of the time, Dee slept on the couch, and Dale would sleep in the bedroom.
And what about Lena?
She would start in her bed, but she always slept with in their bed.
Was there ever a time when Dee showed you an injury that she had in her head, on her head?
Yes.
Okay. And can you describe the injury that you saw?
It was a bruise / bump on her head.
Where was it?
I can't remember which side, but it was either around this side or this side.
Okay. So you're saying both at the hairline?
Yeah.
On one side or the other of her head?
Correct.
And do you recall, in relation to when she went missing in April, how far before that you saw this injury?
I can't recall at this time.
Were you aware that Dee would leave the Munger residence for periods of time during their marriage?
Can you rephrase that?
Sure. Were there times that Dee packed up and left?
Yes.
Okay. And do you know whether she would leave Lena or take Lena with her?
She would take Lena, and there was a few times I would go with her.
Okay. And the times that you didn't go, were you aware that where Dee was?
Sometimes, we always didn't communicate daily, but yeah.
Okay.
I should rephrase later on, yeah.
Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
So when that started to happen, it was more later on when I was going to college and stuff.
So it came to a point where you were going to college and you weren't around as much?
Yeah.
Okay. And when was that?
I graduated 2019, so fall of 2019, but I still, COVID happened, so I came back and worked for them.
Okay, and right up to April of 2021, were you still working for them?
Correct.
When was the last time you were there working?
I believe it was that Wednesday before.
Now, did Dee ever tell you about any kind of extramarital affairs she may have had?
Yes.
And did she tell you the name of a person or more than one person?
Yes.
Okay, and who was that?
Rob Brisky.
And do you know how long that affair lasted?
I don't know, like date to date wise, but at least a year.
If I showed you your Michigan's, the police report from the Michigan State Police, would that refresh your memory as to?
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
So guys, just in case y'all missed it, this is the nanny / the assistant to D. So she was in the house all the time and her personal assistant, so she knows a lot. They kept some of that
Does that refresh
testimony
your
out.
memory?
Yes.
Okay, when was it?
January of 2020.
That it ended?
Yes.
Okay. And did you see in yourself, not from anything anybody told, did you see how he was listed in Dee's phone?
Yes.
What was he listed as?
His name was Michael in her phone.
Also, D was having an affair at some point in time, y'all.
Now on
With Mike.
Saturday, the 24th of April. So you had worked that Wednesday. So I'm talking about that Saturday. Did you get a text from D in the afternoon on Saturday?
Yes.
And do you recall the general subject matter of the text?
Yes.
And what was that?
She had gotten a text, I believe, from Terry, Nyrick's girlfriend. It was just a very nasty text.
Okay. I'm going to show you people's 87.
Thank you. Yes, I know this conversation. Yes.
What is it I just showed you?
That was a conversation between Dee and I.
All right. And that part of it is that she forwarded you the text from Terry,
Yes.
the girlfriend.
Yes.
Okay. And over text was Dee explaining to you what her reaction was to that text?
Yes.
All right. And what was her basic reaction?
She had been throwing up.
Were you at the property at all on Sunday the 25th?
No.
Or Saturday the 24th?
No.
Did you find out at some point that he was missing?
Yes.
What day of the week was that, if you recall?
Sunday.
At some point after he went missing, did the sheriff call you in to watch some of the body cam?
Yes.
And approximately how long after she had gone missing did you go in to watch the body cam?
From what I can remember, it was the day after my birthday, so May 10th.
Okay. So she went missing in end of April. And so, all right. And do you remember which sheriff's deputies or detectives you met with?
Yes.
Who was it?
I believe it's Detective Greca.
Okay. And do you remember what body cam he had you watch?
It was just like throughout the house. He wanted to see if I saw anything misplaced.
Okay. And the date of the body cam? Like what day was it from?
I don't recall the exact date, but I know it was in that week.
Okay. So you watched the body cam from that day, and it was tell us what you saw, like in terms of what was happening in the body cam. Was it an interview or was it walking around?
It was walking around, but then Dale also was in it as well.
Okay, and where did they go in the body cam, if you remember?
From what I remember, it was the kitchen, and then it kind of went to their bedroom.
Okay, and was the sound on?
No, he was very specific to tell me not to turn the sound on.
And did you make an observation that you then relayed to Detective Greca?
Yes.
And what did you tell him?
It was the image was Dale, and it looked like he had burns or scratches on his arm.
Okay. And that stood out to you?
Yes.
Had you ever seen Dale with a burn like that before?
No.
That's all. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Ms. Wolf. My name is Marissa Vinsky. I just have some questions for you. So with starting to work for Ms. Warner in 2015, you worked for her for about 6 years, is that right?
Correct.
And you talked about how she was like a mother to you. Would you classify yourselves as best friends?
Yes.
You testified on direct that Ms. Warner had been discussing the topic of divorce for about 3 years prior to her disappearance. Is that right?
Correct.
You told Detective Greca that essentially the whole time that you knew the family, she had wanted a divorce. Is that accurate?
Are you able to show me where that's
Yes, I can. It's going to be page 30.
at? Thank you.
So you'd agree with me, it says that you, essentially the entire time that you knew the family, Miss Warner wanted a divorce.
If that's what the document says, then yes.
Is that what the document says?
Yes.
On April 24th, 2021, the government talked about text messages with Miss Warner. Do you recollect that?
The day of.
Correct. The day before she disappeared, April 24th, you had a text message exchange with her.
Correct.
And Miss Warner essentially, due to this argument, said she just couldn't handle it anymore. Do you remember that conversation?
Was that in the text messages?
Yes.
Yes.
And when she said that, you really didn't read into it at all because that's stuff that Miss Warner would often say, correct?
Correct.
Miss Warner, she would mainly sleep on the couch when you were there.
Correct.
And she also would drive around to the different farm fields to make sure Mr. Warner was there, correct?
Correct.
She would snoop by going through his things.
Can you give me an example?
When you were with Miss Warner, she would go through Mr. Warner's items and go through his things and try to figure things out.
Do you have like an example of that?
If you look in the document in front of you, page 29, you told Detective Greca that Miss Warner would snoop by going through Mr. Warner's things. It was on page 30, so I believe if you just flip it over, it should be page 29.
Is it what else is highlighted as well?
Yes, it would be a highlighted portion.
Thank you. On page 30, it just, the only thing that's
It's
highlighted.
29, sorry. Flip it over.
Okay. Yes, thank you for showing me that.
Yeah, so Miss Warner would go through Mr. Warner's things, correct?
Yes.
And can you give me an example of what you meant by that when you said that?
I was given a checkbook in Dee's name that Dale had, and also a cell phone. That was Dale's.
When you were around Miss Warner, she would drink. Is that correct?
Yes.
She would drink every day.
Yeah.
There were times when she drank too much where she couldn't drive.
Not all the time. No.
Correct. There were times when she drank when she couldn't drive.
Correct.
And you actually had to pick up Lena from school because she couldn't go pick her up.
Can you show me that where that's at, just to refresh my memory?
Miss Saylor, will you play the interview with Billy Little, GAAM 31, from 2317 to 2426?
Thank you.
So Miss Warner would have you drive to pick up Lena because she could not drive due to drinking.
There was one time, yes, and she would ride with me.
The cell phone that Miss Warner gave you, that was Mr. Warner's, what did you do with that?
She told me to keep it, and then I gave it to I believe, Detective Greca.
At the time you met with him on May 10th?
I believe so, yes.
Miss Warner would always walk to the office. Is that correct?
Can you refresh my memory?
Yes. Do you still have the document, the police report in front of you for your interview with Detective Greca? It's going to be on page 30.
Yes, if it was nice outside, she'd walk.
When the last year that you were with Miss Warner, not only would she walk to the office, but she would walk many places.
What do you mean by many places?
In your words, she would walk everywhere.
Well, if she was gonna go check on like the employees, and there's a barn right next door to her house.
She would leave her house and walk to various places. Is that accurate?
Is that what I said in an interview?
Yes, it is.
I'm not recalling that.
No, that's okay. I can refresh your recollection. It's going to be the Billy Little interview that you had just listened to from 4657 to 4713.
Now I can't understand why she on cross and she can't remember anything that went on or what she said, but I guess maybe because on cross examination they don't know what questions they're going to be asked, but when they're on direct, they pretty much are prepping them, right? Remember we had Chris that said he was rehearsed. He rehearsed this. He knew every question that was going to be asked. So maybe that's the thing. Because I'm like, I guess maybe it's not cross amnesia, like we like to say. Maybe it's just that they don't know what questions they're going to ask.
Yes,
You said that Miss Warner would walk everywhere.
due to her fitness. Yes,
So she would walk everywhere.
in that last year. Yes.
And then finally, you had testified about seeing a bruise on Miss Warner's forehead. Do you remember that?
Yes.
When you met with Detective Greca on May 10th, 2021, that was about 2 weeks after Miss Warner had disappeared, correct?
Correct.
And you never mentioned that bump at all on her forehead in that interview to him.
Okay.
Is that true?
I don't remember the full interview.
You can read the police report if that would help refresh your recollection. The interview is probably 55 minutes. So would you believe me if I said that you did not mention that bump at all?
If I did not mention it during that interview, then I did not mention it during that interview.
Okay, thank you.
I would like to know, who is she looking at? She is looking at somebody, like towards the prosecution or table or something. She is looking at somebody. Like after every question, she's looking in a certain direction. And they got jury questions. The jury wants to know some things. Let's see what the jury got for us. Or maybe this redirect. I don't know what this is because they didn't read. Oh, they about to redirect. I'm like, well, wait a minute. I don't think they got to redirect. Yeah, we can hear the questions when they ask the questions. The judge read them.
Dale had D's checkbook, is it? Is that correct?
Correct.
Can you explain that, how that happened?
I don't remember the situation play by play, but that she had found a checkbook in her name that he had.
Objection if this is based on hearsay. So unless she witnessed this, then it would be personal knowledge.
This is just responsive to the questions that the defense was asking.
I understand that, but I don't think there's a foundation yet for this information to know how she knows. So I think we need that before she can answer.
Right. Do you know, other than detailing you?
Correct.
Okay. It's just from detailing you, that's the only way you know this information.
It was so long ago. I'm not 100%.
Okay. And when you said D walked everywhere, are you talking about around the Munger farm, or are you talking about other places?
After listening to that audio, I remember that in the last year, she was starting to get into like fitness. She wanted to work on her body.
Okay. And where would she do that?
She would walk down to the office, sometimes around the house, and then to the barn where the employees worked.
Okay. But all these places are on the Munger farm property.
Yes.
Okay. And then in terms of D drinking, was that during a period of time or the entire time that you knew her?
I don't remember, I don't believe it was the full time, no.
Okay. Was this something that stuck out in your mind as D has a problem?
It did get to a point, yes.
Okay. And during the whole time or just a certain period of time?
Certain period of time.
And which period of time would that have been?
Around when she said she wanted a divorce.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
I don't have anything, Your Honor.
All right, if counsel could approach, we have some questions to review. So we have received 5 questions from the jury at this point, and it's my understanding the attorneys agreed to asking 4 of them and omitting 1. Is that accurate?
Yes, Your Honor. That's correct. Thank you.
Okay. So the first question is, did you ever witness Dee remove her wedding ring after fights with Dale?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Did Dee discuss helping Terry with a divorce and any issues that arose from that?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
You mentioned burns or scratches. Can you describe these exactly?
So the video footage wasn't really like super clear, but you could see that there was like almost like burn marks on both of his arms. I don't know if that answered it.
Do you know if Dee had a history of sleepwalking, and did you ever witness Dee sleepwalking?
I never witnessed her sleepwalking, and I'm not sure about the other part of the question.
Okay. Mr. McCready, follow up to that.
I just need to plug back in. Okay, I'm going to show you what's been introduced as People's number 74. This is body cam video from the Monday. Does that look familiar to you at all?
Yes.
What is that?
That's what I had saw in the video on his arm.
Okay, and had you ever seen anything like that previously on Dale's arm?
No.
All right, thanks.
I think it's a little bit of both, drunky, in my opinion. Like, annoyed to be there. She doesn't want to be there. And yeah, her boss.
Wolf, was there a time that Miss Warner thought that she lost her wedding ring after a vacation to Florida?
Yes.
And that's because she chose not to wear the ring during the whole vacation?
That's not what I heard.
I don't want to get into what you heard. Obviously, it's hearsay. So you remember a time when she thought she lost her ring after a vacation in Florida?
Can you rephrase that? Because only part of that is something.
So
that
I
remember.
just asked you if you are aware of a time that Miss Warner thought she lost her ring. So I'll break it up there.
Yes.
I was going to end it there.
Nothing further. Thank you. All right. May we excuse Ms. Wolf from her subpoena at this point? Yes. All right. So you are free to go, and you don't have to report any further. If you want to come back and come to court, you're able to do that if you wish.
Thank you so much.
Okay, it is approximately 20 after, ladies and gentlemen, so we're going to break here for today. We will resume tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. or as soon thereafter as we're able to bring upon some court hearings that the court has. So I'll ask you to be back just shortly before 9.
Well, I guess that was it. It was really, really short today.
It's sitting right here in front of me.
Yeah, they didn't have that much testimony today.
All right, so yeah, a couple of things. So first, I'll just remind you at this point, again, you're not to be talking to anyone about the content of the trial, not talking to any of the people involved whatsoever at all. Additionally, during the trial, do not read, listen to, or watch any news reports about this case. Under the law, the evidence you consider to decide the case must meet certain standards. For example, witnesses must swear to tell the truth, and lawyers must be able to cross-examine them. Because news reports do not have to meet these standards, they could give you incorrect or misleading information that might unfairly favor one side. So to be fair to both sides, you must follow this instruction. And thank you again. And we will see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Okay, so we have had 2 questions today that were not answered. Obviously, the one were not asked. Obviously, the ones that were asked were read on the record. It would be my normal practice to read the questions that aren't asked outside the presence of the jury so that there is a record of those. I do acknowledge I haven't done that yet with a couple of others. So I will go back through those tonight, and we'll put those on the record maybe tomorrow morning. But the 2 that were asked today that were not, the 2 questions we received that were not asked. First was Brian Bush said he paid for the tracker, and Stephanie Vocal said she paid for it. Will that be verified in the future, or are we to assume they are both telling the truth and decide for ourselves? Again, all counsel agreed that that was not an appropriate question under the Michigan court rules. And the second question is, did you form any opinion of what you thought may have happened to Dee? And that was the question for Ms. Wolf. And again, all counsel agreed that that was not an appropriate question to ask under the rules of evidence. Anything else we need to address on the record before we adjourn for the evening?
There's only one issue. So we've had 2 witnesses, Ms. Wolf and Ms. Vogel, who have testified, albeit briefly, to things that run afoul of the court's evidentiary ruling. Moved on pretty quickly by the prosecutors, so didn't object because it just highlights it even more. But we do have a few more lay witnesses, so I would just ask the government, if possible, be really clear with them as to what they can and cannot say. Once we start building on inappropriate comments, we have to start making decisions on how much the jury is hearing that they should. So I would just wanted to state that for the record. Thank you.
All right. Anything else from the people?
No, Your Honor.
No, thank you. And I'm not the people, but from defense.
Understood. Thank you. All right, so we will resume tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Again, they have some sentencing hearings and things scheduled for 8:15. So for those of you coming into the courtroom, please be mindful of that. There's very likely something going on the record, even if it's quiet and it doesn't look that way. Sometimes we're just waiting for something to happen. So I appreciate your cooperation with that. All right, so we will be in recess.
Okay, so that concludes day 4's testimony. It was pretty quick. Like, it wasn't that long. It's so funny because they started late, and as you can see, like, they had the feed up for a very long time, but court didn't start until right here. I'm not sure what that was all about today, but it looks like they're going to start on time tomorrow, so that's a plus. You show that tank. Yeah, because I want to know, like, even if they can't, so the defense, what they're trying to say is, what y'all can hear, they keep saying, well, she walked the property. She walked everywhere. She walked alone. She would walk at night. She would walk over here all by herself. Like, this is what she did. But guys, like, I don't care how much walking she was doing. She did not bound her wrist. She did not tape her mouth. She did not do any of that. Thank you, SD, for the super sticker. Like, she didn't do any of that. So if they found her in her pajamas, like that. Somebody had to do that because she didn't do that herself. Now, they probably could have got me if they would have said that she entered the tank and she might have fell in. Like, say, for instance, like if they had a ladder and she accidentally fell in, it was nighttime and nobody seen it. I could probably even get with that. But once you got the tape and stuff on her, then it don't work out for me. No, the ME has not testified. Yeah, she sent it. It says, thank you, Sweet Pea, and the mod, and thank the mods. She said, shout out. Yeah, so when you're thinking about that, like that, it doesn't work that way. So yeah, so anybody that, if you're on a replay team and you haven't seen all the testimony, or if you're just now joining us for day 4, what I can tell you, day 4 and day 3 were pretty short. So if you want to go and kind of catch up in 1 and 2, so I think that like you could really like catch up. Like it's not really like that much testimony, at least from what I can tell. Like yesterday's testimony was 3 hours and 40 minutes. Today's testimony is only 2 hours. Your testimony from Monday, yeah, because we only on day, yeah. The testimony from Monday, is it Monday? I think it's Monday. The other one that I have on here is only 6. I'm muting up the train coming. Come on, ride the train and ride it. So we'll be back in our trials. If anybody is following along with us, we will be back in the courtroom in Georgia, where we'll be dealing with Colin. Hopefully tomorrow we'll get some testimony pointing to him or telling us something, how he did it or what he did, how he gave his son the pew pew, how all of that worked out. I'm waiting to hear that testimony. I'm really excited. Not really, because I shouldn't say it that way. Damn it. I'm not going to say excited. I can't wait to see mom get on the stand. I can't wait to see grandma on the stand. Like, I have so many questions. I cannot wait till these people get on the stand and kind of walk me down this aisle of how he knew. And then I want the defense to be able to cross-examine these people and tell us how he didn't know. Yeah, because I don't get it. And I am waiting to see what they're going to bring in. And right now, we're just not there. But the ME testified today in that case. So, and I really like that. I don't know how you guys feel about it. I wanted to talk to y'all about that. But the StreamYard was messing up at the end of our feed. Do y'all have much more appreciation for an ME that does diagrams than actual photos? I kind of like the diagrams better than actually seeing the photos of all the, the group. I don't want to say gruesome, but all the damage or all the injuries versus to like actually, like if I was on a jury, I think I would be okay with diagrams. Or do you really need to see the photo? I appreciate that they brought the photos in versus the diagram versus to photos. That way it doesn't really like pull so much on the jury's, coattails. You say you love photos. Both. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I think that it's good for the defense that they're not able to bring that in. Can we agree upon that? I know what we like, but I'm pretty sure the defense like, yeah, I'm glad you're not showing that he was shot here and shot there, how close he was shot. I think that that's probably good for the defense because they don't get to see those gruesome photos, right? And get, their heart set on it. I don't know. It's just a thought. Would you say no doubt? Well, guys, that wraps up what we have. You say both, Sid? I guess. I mean, I can see that. I mean, I can see why people would want both. So I just think that that's a win when the defense can keep those gruesome photos out. I think that that's a win when they can keep them out. All right, guys. Well, I think that we covered it all today. I want to thank you all for hanging out with me. Shout out to the mods, shout out to the chat, shout out to all our new members, all our new subs. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Photos speak to myself. Oh my gosh. Oh boy. So you were okay with all them photos that we seen earlier at the school, or you just want gruesome photos? Because I was like, if she about to go through 1,000 photos, y'all, this is about to be a dreadful day of every hole, of everything. I was like, oh no, please don't do that to us. Please don't. Hey, please don't. Don't show us all of that. I mean, I know they showed us some blood earlier. I'm like, okay.
When Sweet Pea taps in, you know the courtroom lights go bright. Trials running long, but the family's here every night. Mars on patrol, chatter showing out. This little YouTube corner's what community's about. Therapist you know, steady holding down the floor. Behind the scenes magician, keeping peace like never before. A banner king, a rule keeper too. Every channel dreams of a mind like you. Jason walks in and the ladies lose control. Down to earth king with the warmest soul. Film freaks, kindness, man, is always on display. Fair and sweet and cheering folks along the way. And Marilia from SA keeps the laughter rolling free. Joking, shining, keeping spirits where they need to be. We're a family in the chat, side by side through every trial. Sweet Pea leads the way with that fire and that smile. We debate, we laugh, we lift each other higher. This courtroom crew is everything we admire. Yeah, no matter what the case or file, we're forever taken to trial. Take it to trial. Pretty brown girl, she'll tell you what's true. Sharp as a gavel, funniest in the room. Dr. Rachel pops in while she's busy running lines. Speaks her mind every time, cuts through like a knife. And Fowler brings the energy, jokes flying fast. Helping Sweet Pea backstage, making every stream last. Then Zach's chosen, causing chaos just for fun. The resident cheater, but we love him, everyone. Here comes Maddie, handsome, quick with the line. A comedy sniper with the perfect timing. And Lynn with the updates, always loyal, always tuned. If true crime news drops, he brings it to the room. We're a family in the chat, side by side through every trial. Sweet Pea leads the way with that fire and that smile. We debate, we laugh, we lift each other higher. This courtroom crew is everything we admire. Yeah, no matter what the case or file, we're forever taken to trial. Take it to trial. Shamrock keeps us trending, replay queen. Holding down the algorithm like a machine. SD's razor sharp, loyal through and through. And yeah, she adores chasing nothing new. Drunky the bear with the white claws, way managing volunteers like she runs the whole land. Cynthia brings inside what takes sharp and steady. Donna keeps it real, 911 and always ready. Tilly Bird's the fat queen, receipts on tap. Easy's new, but she blends right into the pack. Tennessee, hard live, try support her with pride. Melly shows up a family for cooking for his dog. A steady carrying presence through the courtroom fog. And Brooklyn in the house, always bringing that spark. Lighting up the chat like a shout in the dark. Baka loves her gram, speaks truth when it's time. Micrograms with metaphors straight up sublime. Barbara biggest supporter, heart kind and vast. Looking for missing kids, hope that truly lasts. Only fan from Singapore, flag name but sweet. Still shows up with love every time he takes a seat. And even the part-timers keep this place alive. Curvio, Irish Amy, Capri Law, Hellcat, our tribe. Hearts wide open, stories shared, holding space because we care. From every corner of the world we climb to spend these nights together, one trial at a time. We're a family in the chat, side love is something rare. A courtroom crew with hearts beyond compare. No matter what the case or file, we're forever taken to trial. A family, and we couldn't ask for more.
What you mean you made it, Susie? You say you made it. You know, it's so funny because I've been looking at my phone and I see you rewatching videos, right? And I'm like, well, maybe she want to rewatch some videos versus to be on a live stream. And I was like, okay, well, you know, maybe she want to do some catching up because you just wrote in one of the videos. And you say, I'm too late. Yeah, I can see your comments when I was looking at my phone, it alert me when you make a comment. And I'm like, well, maybe she wants to be rewatching the videos because I seen you were rewatching the stuff for the other trial. And I said, well, maybe she don't want to come in the live. And then I see you over here in Discord and you over here, you all over everywhere except for where you needed to be. Oh my goodness, you are too funny. Well, here go another video that you can rewatch. It was only like 2 hours. So this one was only about 2 hours. I didn't think it was gonna be this short, but it was. What you say? You was like, oh no. I was like, she hanging out in the YouTube streets. Maybe that's where she wanted to be. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. Yeah, you'll be able to watch this one. You can rewind it, I think, and watch it. It was only like 2.5 hours, like I said. You are fine. All right, guys. Have a great one. I'll see you tomorrow.